Greetings again, travelers, and welcome once again to another episode of Travel Talk with Paul and Ed. I'm Ed Gates with the Getaway Gang, and with me is, of course, Paul Gamber, Captain.
Hello. Good afternoon, good sir. It's good to be here.
Oh, awesome. Well, welcome to our first of the month episode where we always recap a little bit of the travel news. Not much going on today, but Paul's going to give us a quick rundown of some of the headlines right now. But first, I want to say Happy Beer Day to everybody. Paul, did you bring a beer?
I did. I was forewarned that it was beer day, and I brought my my Miller Lite, which is my go-to afternoon beer.
Brian, my brother-in-law, who's the truck driver, smuggled me some Yingling from back east. Anybody on the East Coast knows how good this beer is. Anybody on the West Coast, if you're from the East Coast, you know how big of a deal this is right here. You can't get it in the stores. So I'm happy to have it, and today's a good day to have one. So let's crack tubes.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. All right. So National Beer Day, by the way, it commemorates one of the first legislation passed after the repealing of prohibition. The prohibition was repealed in February of 1933. In April, they passed this law that allowed the sale of beer and wine for the first time since prohibition began. Of course, it only allowed a low alcohol beer, maximum alcohol content of 3.5%, which is
that's not much.
Pretty not much. No, just enough to make you feel good and take the edge off, I think, which is what probably 6 or 7% does for me nowadays. And you know what? I have to confess, Paul, just about every day while I've been in quarantine has been National Beer Day.
Absolutely. Exactly. Who needs a National Beer Day when every day's beer day, right?
Exactly. You know, so anybody, if you're having a beer with us right now, thanks a lot. But Paul, why don't you tell us what's going on, if anything, in the travel world?
Absolutely. Well, we're all aware of the health issues and the quarantines and the lockdowns and all of that. And so I'm not going to talk about that. We all know what's going on. These are things that sort of relate to that, because of what's going on. In the cruise industry in particular, some interesting things that I've read about this week were some of the lines, this one in particular was Royal Caribbean, are working to get all of their, thousands of staff home and all of the people that work on the ships. And as you know, they're from all over the world. So some of those ships are now, they have these grand plans to reposition all of their staff and their crew. And that is an interesting puzzle to accomplish. The unfortunate part of that is I'm also reading that they're running up against deadlines now to either sort of shut the ships down because it's costing a lot more to keep them up and running, which the unfortunate part of that is it means that once we're finally on the other side of this, it actually takes the cruise lines time to restart those ships and can take several weeks instead of just having them parked there and ready to go and supply. So the bummer part of that is even once we're on the other side, it may be a while before things crank back up because they've had to sort of mothball their ships. So in the cruise industry, that's kind of the biggest story right now. Across the other parts of travel, two stories that are sort of related that caught my eye, and I talked to you about these, were that the U.S. has stopped issuing passports right now, and I can't find that there's a date to resume that. They're only doing it for those in case of emergency that have to travel within 72 hours. So they haven't completely shut it down, but all of the normal processing for passports, it's done. They're not doing it right now, and that's kind of big news. Not that we're needing to travel, but if you have a trip planned later in the year, you need to keep that in mind because there is going to be some delays, and I'm sure once they start back up, they're really going to be behind. Related to that is that the Real ID deadline that we've talked about so much that's coming up this October has been delayed. So we're now in October of 2021 for needing a Real ID to travel, at least with a driver license, domestically.
Right.
So
with local states, have they changed theirs as well in accordance with the federal announcement that they're delaying it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that is a federal federal mandate that states can't force you to get a real ID, but in terms of needing it for federal on a federal level, that is a federal mandate, and all the states will follow. No, for instance, my driver license is still coming due in September of this year, so I'm going to need to, go on and apply for one, so I don't have to go back in next year and do it again. Stephanie is even closer than me. She's coming up. She has an appointment on May 20th because her birthday's in late May, and I have a feeling that's going to get canceled. So she may have to go in twice. It's going to create some issues. All the DMVs, for instance, California, are shut down right now. So.
Will you still be getting a real ID driver's license when you go renew?
Yes. I mean, they're still doing them. It's just the deadline to get one has been pushed out.
Okay. I think in Arizona, I'll have to double check on this. I know we had a state mandate in place as well to get your new real ID, and I'm pretty sure it probably falls in line with the federal's deadline. But I'll definitely double check on that for Arizona. We don't have
it's a great point what you're asking, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% sure. And I'm sure probably some of the states aren't sure right now because that was just announced a week ago. So
yeah. But
in terms of a federal level, they've put it off until October of 2021. So
okay, well, definitely something to keep an eye on. If you don't need to get it right away, I don't recommend it, but you know.
Absolutely. So keep an eye on that. None of us are going to be traveling in the immediate future anyway, so at least not on an airplane, probably. We hope you're not. Well, and speaking of airplanes, the last core story is in the air travel industry, and we've talked about some airlines in the last couple of weeks that domestic, like Delta and American and those that have cut way back, like as much as 80 or 90% on their flight schedule. They're essentially doing very limited travel for just essential routes. Something that I saw this week was that I'm seeing airlines that have literally completely shut down until May, June, or even further notice. Some of the ones that caught my eye: Turkish Airlines, they fly in and out of LA a lot to Europe. The low-cost airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet, which are really big for domestic Europe travel, they literally have completely shut down. And I'm reading others have in Europe have smaller ones have shut down or cut back to 80 or 90%. And so even if you do need to travel now, it's going to be tough to do so, at least for the next couple months. And consequently related to that, and then particularly Delta is the story I saw, but I know I saw another one, I believe, for American. And I've seen some hotels do this as well, that are rolling over Sky Miles or loyalty point program status for a year, for a matter of 6 months to a year, to allow for the fact that people aren't traveling right now. Yeah. So in fact, one of my good friends reached out to me about that very question about Marriott, and I saw that they were doing a similar thing where they're simply extending those Sky Miles programs and status for a lot of times a year, because Lord knows you're not earning them right now. So they were trying to, be fair about that, and that's nice. So.
Well, that's an interesting point about not earning them right now, too, because there's another thing I saw with Sky Miles and some other rewards programs is that they're actually offering more ways for you to earn points right now and spend points online or redeem them for other services. So check that out, too. If you have some of these rewards programs, go see what's new. There's a lot of neat things.
And the last thing is just a feel-good story, and you're the one that shared this with me, and I wanted to end my little segment with this. And that is something if you're in our Facebook VIP group, and the chances are you're watching this video here, or you could be on YouTube, in which case, come on over to our Facebook VIP group. The link is in the description of this video. But anyway, Eddie has been posting great stories about traveling from your own sofa. And
virtual vacations.
Yeah, virtual vacationing. And this is in that same vein, thinking about all of the beautiful cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. This is their time of year to bloom and to shine. And if you'd like to enjoy those, there is something called Bloom Cam that has all of these different views of the National Mall in Washington, D.C. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that link in our group after the video is over today, so you can check out the National Mall and see those cherry blossoms from the comfort of your own home. We may be coming up on the tail end of them, but I thought that was a really neat thing that they were doing. So it's not exactly a news story, but it is a feel-good story of getting out and seeing the world from the comfort of your own home. But that leads me into what you're going to talk about, Ed, and that is actually what you can do to travel outside of your home right now.
That's right. It's a tough time right now, especially being cooped up in your home and thinking that you can't go anywhere. And so I am here to encourage you to maybe look around and see if you can, try to find some ways to get out of the house every now and then. My wife and I took a trip this weekend, and we went to a area of Arizona that's pretty abandoned. It's an area called Harquahala, and it's out by Saddle Mountain. There's some public land there, some camping area on BLM land, but it's very rugged camping. It's designed for off-road campers and tent camping and hiking, things like that. So you could actually be out away from lots of people, just away from miles away from people, and enjoy some of the quiet and get the outdoors and just kind of forget about things for a little while. It's very important for you to get out and take a vacation, especially when we're in stressful situations like this. So some of the best vacations you could take right now, even just taking a little walk around your block, making sure that you're staying 6 feet away from your neighbors, and just being very careful when you go outside in an urban area. It's recommended to also wear a mask right now. Even a cloth mask is good. We did not wear masks when we went out to the desert. We didn't think it was necessary. Another idea is to just take a drive. In Arizona, we have quite a few scenic routes, and I know there are some all over the world right now where you can get some great scenic routes just by hopping in your car and taking a drive. Actually, I think, Paul, you took a nice little drive this weekend as well, did you?
I did. We've gone out the last couple Sundays. This week we ventured up into the San Gabriel Canyon, which is north of where my mom lives here in the Los Angeles area, and just took a beautiful mountain drive. The weather was kind of overcast, so the clouds were low, hanging over the mountains. And but yeah, I did. And again, it was with my mother has been distanced from everyone else. So even though she's in another house right now, she's able to spend time with us because we also have remained distant. Unfortunately, the rest of the family is kind of doing their own thing. So mom has come along with us too on those drives. But it was fantastic. And our biggest concern there is the ability to use the bathroom because, you can't just stop and go into a fast food restaurant and I guess you probably could a gas station, but obviously we're trying to avoid, so maybe you can't even do that. It's just something to keep in mind.
I do not recommend using the restroom at a gas station. I think I mentioned this last time we talked about if you have to travel over the road. I personally am advocating for everybody, if you are on the road, save the gas stations for the truck drivers. Really, they're the ones who need them. Yeah. They don't have any place to go on their big rigs. If you can, hold it till you get back home. Take a day trip. If not, nature is where we pooped and peed for thousands of years before we got indoor plumbing. There's ways. Bring a little shovel with you. Bring some little toilet paper. It's biodegradable. It's very valuable, but it's not biodegradable. But take advantage of nature. But no, seriously, when you're taking a drive, there's a lot of great drives you can do. So check wherever you're going, whether it be a state park, national park. If you want to get out and walk a little bit, make sure that's allowed in your state and your municipality. I don't recommend public parks right now, urban parks right now, just because there's a lot of people that go to and use those facilities a lot. But taking a drive is a great way to take your pressure off and get some stress out of your system and just enjoy some of the sights and enjoy this world.
I couldn't agree more. And we just enjoyed the sights. And we have we have folks that would not be comfortable answering the call of nature. So we just stay in terms of not in a bathroom. So we've made a point to stay closer to home with those drives. But and the parks and trails and hikes and all that are closed around here anyway. So we're definitely not encouraging you to do that. But within the safety of walk out your door, get in your car, take a drive, come back home, and don't interact with anyone else, I'm 100% for that. So,
well, I mean, if you can and safely get out of the car and take a look around and get some fresh air, I definitely encourage you to do that.
Sure.
As long as you're not close to other people and you're practicing social distancing. I do want to recommend one location in Arizona if you happen to be close by. It's in northern Arizona. There might be something like this in your area as well. It's called Bear Arizona, and it's actually a drive-through bear park, a national park.
Sounds awesome.
Drive through and see some of the animals in the wild. Now there might be some like that close by to you that you could take a quick drive and go through a park like that.
Great idea.
That's another great idea. But definitely get out, get the kids in the car, and take a short little drive every now and then. It'll be worth it.
Absolutely.
Paul, that's all I got.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that because it's a great idea. We thought the same thing, and we're going to have to continue to be creative. We might have to see if we can make it down to the ocean and back without having to stop to pee. That's what worries me.
Check out those beaches because I heard they're closed.
Great idea. Well, we're going to continue to come back every Tuesday and talk about travel for 10 or 15 minutes because, as we've said before, we know you want to think about things to do now and things to do in the future when this is over. One more quick word and we'll wrap up for today is I also encourage you, we are doing Cruise Planners as a company is doing a great giveaway and sort of engagement thing now. And this is on our business page. So I normally don't post the link in the video, but I will do for this one. We are on Facebook. This one's easy to find. It's open to the public. Our business page, Cruise Planners Getaway Gang. If you search for us, you can find us or follow the link. And talk about a vacation moment. Post a picture. # Cruise Planners Love.
Cruise Planners
on
Love.
our page. # Cruise Planners Love. And they're giving away some prizes. And at the end of the month or at the end of a month-long campaign here, they're going to be giving away a free cruise. So it's pretty awesome. Make sure you check that out right now. It's something to think about those trips you've taken and think about maybe winning a free cruise for sometime in the future. That's pretty exciting. So
deadline's April 30th. Make sure you do # Cruise Planners Love.
Yeah.
And definitely, throw up a picture, throw up a story, an anecdote, or something along with it. You never know; you might win a cruise. And it's what cruise line is it on again, Paul?
They have not announced that yet. So.
I saw it in the link, so I think it is.
Okay, I apologize. I didn't catch it. So I think it might be
but I don't want to say so. So
it might be MSC. Is that what you were thinking?
No, I think it's Princess actually.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared with that.
That's okay. Make sure, you guys, that you do it and post it. And you don't miss out on this chance to win. Also, if you're enjoying, and I know some of you are, because I got quite a few requests to not stop posting vacation ideas. So we're gonna post a couple for Easter week here. Next series is going to be a bunch of abandoned churches. I thought they were really kind of spooky and a great.
Oh, that's cool.
Great thing. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll just hope you're enjoying our daily pictures of vacations so much that you get some ideas of where you want to go when all this goes away.
Awesome.
So we'll be here for you.
All right, Ed, it was good to see you and good to see all of you, our viewers, as well. We will have a wonderful Easter if you celebrate Easter, and we'll see you next Tuesday with our next show. Have a great week.
Take care, everybody.